Hello, I'm Robin Henning, and welcome to another Exchange Life Nugget of Truth. How much do you appreciate God's grace and mercy? I bet a whole bunch, right? Now, how much do you enjoy applying it to others who wound you or offend you? Maybe not so much. Sometimes it's really hard to forgive others when they wound us, because it hurts. It's not fun. Now, let's add the element of the spiritual battle. You see, Satan loves to divide relationships, whether they are marriages, friendships, parent-child relationships, work relationships. He loves to sow seeds of division whenever he has the opportunity. Now, grace and mercy are the best weed killers of seeds or weeds of discord. But if you're anything like me, you might have trouble applying grace and mercy to kill those weeds of bitterness and division for a variety of reasons. Well, first and foremost, maybe is very simply what they did really hurt, and those fresh wounds need treatment with the Lord to be bound up and cleansed. Part of the cleansing of the wound is applying the balm of grace and mercy. Now, the enemy wants us to forget how God has applied grace and mercy to us every time we opt in our flesh to choose our flesh and to function apart from Him. It takes grace and mercy to get us back into alignment and fellowship with God. Now, our relationship, salvation stays intact, okay? But fellowship with the Lord can be hindered. It'll affect our ability to hear Him, to experience Him, to be in alignment with Him, if we're choosing to be bitter and unforgiving and not extend grace and mercy. So, when He does this, when we are faithful to acknowledge Him, let me get back on track. We're faithful to acknowledge Him, the shed blood of the Lamb, and we receive that grace and mercy, it helps us to remember how we need to extend that to others too. It's that simple. If we don't, we're going to be vulnerable to the enemy attack, and we're going to have division instead of healing. Let me kind of create a little bit of a picture here. I don't have a cut, but pretend I have a cut, a gash, something so deep that there's a lot of blood and it needs to be grabbed hold of. You wouldn't grab it and make it wider. You would grab it and pull it together, and you put pressure on it to try to stop the bleeding, and then off you go to the doctor. Now, the doctor isn't going to stitch it up right away. The doctor's going to open it up a little bit and clean out. He's going to abrade it, and he's going to clean it out. It's going to hurt like crazy. Hopefully they give you some painkillers. But if he doesn't clean it out, if he just stitches it up with the toxins in there, it's going to create pus and infection and badness. It can even eventually lead to sepsis and death. So, beloved, when we get wounded, we need to take those wounds to the Lord. We need to allow Him to clean them out. We need to get real with Him, tell Him how we're feeling. Give Him the hurt and the pain. Give Him that toxic stuff. We need to then forgive and apply the balm. Okay, it's like iodine or neosporin or whatever, some antibacterial. Grace and mercy is that antibacterial of the enemy balm that we need to apply to others as it's been applied to us all the time in our relationship and fellowship with the Lord. So, beloved, ask Him to bind up your broken heart, to be that great physician, that soul surgeon that only He can be. Clean that stuff out. Give that over to Him. Forgive. Apply grace and mercy. Ask Him to show you, who do I need to forgive? Ask Him to show you that any lies I'm believing. Are there any vows that I've taken? I'll never let them hurt me like that again. In other words, I'll be my own protector instead of the Lord. I won't love. We're designed for love. When we're choosing not to love, we're functioning apart from God's design and His will. Lord, where do I need to give you the hurt and pain? Lord, I choose to give grace and mercy to them. They don't deserve it any more than I do, but you gave it to me, so I give it to them. Choose to live at peace with them. Bring the walls down. As long as they're not locking and loading constantly, there are times when the Lord will allow you to step back. If they're choosing not to be at peace with you, He's allowing you to step back from the relationship. But either way, when you apply grace and mercy to what these people have done with these offenses, guess what? The enemy loses. The devil loses the battle when we do this. And grace wins. Grace wins every time when we choose to forgive. I hope this encourages you. I know it challenged me this week. I hope you have a blessed week in Jesus. We'll see you next time.